We now present the soundtrack of an interview of Srimati Indira Gandhi recorded on 27 December 1971 and broadcast by the National Broadcasting Company of the United States of America.
Well, to start with, Madam Prime Minister, your country has paid a heavy price in this war. What do you think India has gained out of it?
The price of freedom is never light. And we have to see what would be the price of not doing what we did do, of our intervention. And I think people of Bangladesh, for instance, it has meant their survival. Now, is any price too great for survival or for life? This is the question. Let us also balance it with, as I said earlier, the price for not doing anything. Now, had the entire people of Bangladesh been annihilated, which was happening according to your own news media, this would have had a disastrous effect on India. It was having a disastrous effect. And, well, there's no price too great for us to keep the country's stability, unity, and ultimately freedom and security.
Because of the official United States position on this conflict, do you think relations between India and the United States have been permanently scarred?
Well, we've always valued friendship with the U.S., and I'm happy to say that we have received great understanding from the people of the United States of all sections. When I've gone there, I've seen this sympathy, and I'm getting hundreds of letters, not only I, but all the officials or anybody who knows people in the States is being practically inundated with letters, even from school children, saying, sympathizing with the situation and supporting us in what we are doing. The United States, for its own reasons, I think it has viewed this situation more as an inconvenience to the plans already drawn up by the administration. They've never tried to go into the depth of the situation. And they've not even tried to see the future, what would happen. I mean, should a country like India be weakened? What would be the effect on Asia? I mean, all these things must be seen. Earlier you asked about the price. I saw your question this morning, and the first thing that came into my mind was a poem which I was very fond of as a child, especially when our people were going in and out of prison. It's by Ralph Chaplin. And he says, "Mourn not the dead, but rather mourn the apathetic throng who see the world's great anguish and its wrong, but dare not speak." Now we feel that in this, India has spoken up, not just for the people of Bangladesh, not just for the cause of India, but the whole cause of oppression of people all over the world. And we have always stood for this, and I sincerely hope we will always stand for this. Now that the situation is changed, and I think more and more countries and peoples and administrations are accepting the change, I hope that the administration of the United States will get over its anger and look at things afresh. We've always valued their friendship, and we continue to do so.
Have you had any hint that this might happen? There might be a change in policy?
I don't know.
Some critics say that because of Russia's support of India in this conflict and because of the new Indian-Soviet treaty, that India is now too closely identified with the Soviet Union to have any credibility as a non-aligned nation. How would you reply to these critics?
I'm amused, if I may put it that way. Who are the people who say this? Has the United States ever accepted non-alignment? So what right have they today to judge who is or who is not non-aligned? They have not approved of it ever. To us, if I may say with all humility, what is important or what matters is not what the United States thinks about what we are, but what the reality is. We are firmly committed to non-alignment, and we intend to remain so. Because what does it mean? It doesn't mean that you're not friends or you are friends with somebody. What it means is that you reserve your right to judge things absolutely independently. Now, we have fought for our independence not so long ago. I mean, it's very vivid in my mind, for instance. I was very closely involved. I simply cannot think that I would let the merest shadow be cast on independence of decision or action for anything in the world. To me, that is the most important thing. It's certainly more important than my life. So that we will, and I'm sure the Indian nation feels like that too. So for us, there's no question. We have been friends with the Soviet Union, and the treaty has been a continuance. And may I say that from what we see in the newspapers, it seems that your government is far more hampered by its newfound friendship with China than we are in any way by our friendship with the Soviet Union.
Has the Soviet Union attempted to put any pressure of any kind on your government?
No, we wouldn't be friends if they had.
Non-Bengalis in Bangladesh right now are very much afraid of reprisals because of the slaughter that took place before. Your army right now is protecting them, but when your army leaves, there's worry that there will be more killing. What's your thinking on this question?
I think that the Mukti Bahini and the Bangladesh government are as committed to the Geneva Convention as is the Indian Army or the Indian government. If you remember the terrible things that have happened in Bangladesh and the ordeal through which the people have gone through, the civilians as well as those who were fighting, it's remarkable how much tolerance there is. And also I would like to say that we didn't hear any protest from world governments when these people were being killed. You know, nobody said a word when 1 million people were killed in Bangladesh. Over 10 million were driven out of their homes, many of them maimed, wounded, starving. When such a large number of women, for instance, were dishonored, not a single government said a word.
Including the Soviet Union.
And now that they should raise this question.
What do you see as the major issues now that remain to be settled between India and Pakistan? For example, you've said many times that India wants no new territory, but your military at the same time have talked about redrawing the ceasefire line in Kashmir. There's much talk that repatriation of the prisoners of war will be linked to the release of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. How will these issues be settled?
Well, bilaterally, I don't think there's any place for a third country in this matter. I think it's too early to go into the details of any negotiations. But India has always been willing to talk things over. And we've made this offer to Pakistan. In spite of all the insinuations of the Western press, we have never been against Pakistan. And we have taken every possible step, sometimes unilaterally, to try and evoke a response of friendship or normal functioning. But it is true that the Hate India campaign in Pakistan, it does have some reaction here. However, so far as this questions you have raised, it's a matter to go into.
Do you personally see much chance of a viable peace treaty now, with all the bitterness and hatred in the background?
Well, obviously, before anything, negotiations or anything takes place, the atmosphere has to be calmer.
How long might that take?
No, I don't know. That's not up to us. We're perfectly calm, and we've remained calm from the beginning.
Do you think that Bangladesh can avoid the scramble for influence by the major powers? Can avoid being dominated by one or the other?
Well, I think they have got the talent and the capacity to stand up for true independence, because this is what they fought for, to be liberated and to have to express their own identity. So I doubt very much whether they would like this to be overshadowed by any other country or power. Also, don't you think that if you look at the world situation, not just this situation, but different situations, that there are severe limitations to superpowers in what they've tried to do and what they've achieved? Now, here in India, there's always been an effort to have a balance. Now, what did it mean in effect? It meant that they wanted to keep India weak. There was no other balance that could have been done. And they wanted to keep the subcontinent divided. And this is what I don't blame the leaders of Pakistan or their people. I do blame those who created a situation where Pakistan was unable to stand on its feet, where it was getting superficial, not an impression, but as a feeling of strength, which was not real strength at all.
When will the Indian Army pull out of Bangladesh?
Well, soon, I hope.
Is there any chance at all that it would remain indefinitely?
Oh, certainly not.
If the Bangladesh government should prove unstable, and there seemed to be a worry of more fighting, would the army stay?
I don't think that it will be unstable. Every country, it's been through a terrible ordeal, and they're bound to take certain differences. There are bound to be certain differences between the various elements, but I've no doubt that they will settle down. They're all deeply committed people, and they have a tremendous task before them.
The people of India appear more united now than they've ever been since independence. Your popularity certainly is at a new high. Will you try now to channel this enthusiasm, these high spirits, in some new direction?
Well, surely it's part of it is my job to keep the people united and to try and challenge the energies of the people in a creative and positive direction. But there are no breaks on our path. It's not cut up into bits, that's what I mean. It's one continuous process. This is what I've been trying to do ever since I'm in office. And I'm glad that I'm having some little success. But I think that my major desire is not to channelize other people's thinking or doing, but to give them a basis on which they can function in the right direction themselves. It's for them to really choose. And today we have this great unity because the government and the people are walking in step. That is why each reacts to the others in such a healthy way.
Do you feel that India, in one sense, is at a crossroads now, that it's passed into a new phase because of this war and of the new united feeling coming out of it?
The war has helped, but don't think that we wouldn't have had it without the war. Because we have, ever since our last parliamentary elections, we have had the greater political coherence and unity, and every step forward has increased that, strengthened it.
And do you see a new era opening?
Well, a new era opened long ago. It's just that we are moving a little faster now.
Thank you very much.